2016, then Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stood in the way of President Barack Obama's appointment of Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court. You all remember that. He then flip-flopped just a few years later when Donald Trump was in office.
The American people may well elect a president who decides to nominate Judge Garland for Senate consideration. The next president may also nominate somebody very different. Either way, our view is this: give the people a voice in filling this vacancy.
Supreme Court justice next year.
We'd fill it.
McConnell ultimately rushed through the Supreme Court confirmation of Trump's appointment, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, in 2020, an election year. Our next guest says that action by McConnell lifted the veil for many Americans about how rules don't apply to today's Republican Party. Joining us now, host of the No Lie podcast, Brian Tyler Cohen. He's also an MSNBC contributor whose new book is titled Shameless: Republicans' Deliberate Dysfunction and the Battle to Preserve Democracy. Brian, good morning. Congratulations on the book. So I'll have you explain a little bit more your thesis there. We use McConnell sort of as an example of that, perhaps the most prominent example of changing the rules midstream. What else do you write about in the book? How does this show itself in our politics?
I talk more broadly about how Republicans have relied on their long-standing branding basically to give themselves a permission structure to act in a way that's completely antithetical to that branding. So I talk about how they present themselves as the party of the Constitution, the party of family values, of fiscal responsibility, of states' rights, of the military, and yet in practice they actually behave in a way that's completely opposite to that. And so this presents itself as letting the American people feel like it's okay to vote for them because they're good on the economy, when in fact they're not good on the economy, and we have metric after metric to prove all of those things.
So, Brian, let's talk about the role the media plays in this phenomenon, willingly, often from the conservative side, and even unwittingly from what some would consider the mainstream media. How does it happen?
Well, I think in big part, what I call the both sides media in this book has given them cover to act this way, and it's in large part how the media has allowed them to given them a permission structure to act this way, just because they don't want to be labeled as the liberal media, and so they'll bend over backwards to kowtow to the right and basically act as their assignment editors.
Can you talk to me about Republican policies and just how you feel that informs this thesis?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the Republican policies that we see, I mean, look, Republicans present themselves as the party of family values, and just to choose one. They are right now blocking the IVF bill in the Senate. I don't see how that's exactly family values friendly. They block SNAP benefits and Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. None of those actually lend themselves to this idea that they're family values. If you look at the states, for example, that Republicans have full control in, those are the states with the worst outcomes in maternal mortality and infant mortality. So again, nothing comports with this idea that they're family values. So for all of their policies, they rely on their branding to give themselves cover to act in a way that's, again, completely opposite to that.
And also, Brian, we can talk about immigration right now at the center of this presidential campaign, which is, as Vice President Harris has pointed out, and we've pointed out many times on this show, complaining about what's happening on the border while killing which would have been the strongest immigration bill in a couple of generations because Donald Trump asked them to.
Right. This is just the peak of shamelessness, which is why I titled the book that way. But they present themselves as, they're going to be the party that's good on the border and to make sure that they can get in so that they can finally close down the border. And yet, they had the opportunity to do exactly that. There was a border bill that was negotiated by James Lankford, a conservative Republican, along with Chris Murphy and Kyrsten Sinema. They had the opportunity to pass it. And yet Donald Trump wanted so badly to preserve this as an issue that he sent out his clarion call to his Republicans in Congress and the Senate, and they duly killed it. And yet now they're running once again on the issue of the border as their principal issue.
and allowing Vice President Harris to seize the issue and say, if I become president, I'll sign that bill that actually is tough on the border, unlike Donald Trump, who killed it. The new book is titled Shameless: Republicans' Deliberate Dysfunction and the Battle to Preserve Democracy. It is on sale now. Brian Tyler Cohen, thanks for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.